How's it going, Clink? So it's Tuesday, and I'm gonna do my whole vlog like this. No, I'm just kidding. I've done a couple takes of this so far because I'm not used to the whole really long single take vlog. This is a little different for me because I do a lot of footage normally, and then I cut it into very little footage. So I'm having to kind of rework how I do this kind of thing. Um, Thanks for that challenge, Steven. It's really messing with me. This will take a lot less time though. Um, Speaking of Steven, I'd gone over to his house yesterday and I brought over his newest toy. I had a desktop around here that was not being used. Uh, and I offered him and I said, "Hey, I got this desktop that if you add a graphics card to it, it can play games for you." So we got our hands on another graphics card, put it in it, gave him the computer, test all his stuff. Now he can play games that he couldn't play before because he played on a really not really cheap laptop uh, that really couldn't run games. So now he can play Crisis. Now he can play Battlefield. Now he can play Minecraft because something was going wrong with that. So you're welcome, Steven. Uh, and thank you, Adam, for donating your old graphics card. Speaking of Adam, I got a text from him yesterday saying Bioshock Infinite, and then lots of consonants and letters on the keyboard that he was just typing rapidly to make no sense. So clearly, he had just beaten it, because that's pretty much the reaction that everyone has had from this game, because it just messes with your brain. So I hope you enjoyed that, because I enjoyed that, and I was sitting there for about 3 hours after I beat it, wondering what the heck had just happened. It's a good game, though. If you haven't played it, you should definitely play it, because it's excellent. Um, and for games I have to wait for, I'm not getting Pokemon until probably December. And Adam said that he's getting it soon, so that's gonna be obnoxious to wait for. But I will do it. And in the meantime, I have to wait even longer for a game I've been looking at called Watch Dogs, which is an open world game. You play as a hacker, and you can basically control the entire world with your cell phone and control things like lights, control stoplights, um, things like that. You basically have entire control over the city of Chicago, a futuristic Chicago, and it looks really cool. But Ubisoft just delayed it until April, which is a super massive bummer because that was supposed to be a next gen release game, but not anymore. Sad face. Um, I had just discovered that I should not drive a manual car with flip flops. Because they're called flip flops and they flip and flop when you walk, that's not the ideal driving shoe for a manual because you have to finesse between a clutch and a gas pedal. It's really tricky to interpret that when you have things like flip flops on. So I've had trouble with it, and I've been super annoyed with me not being able to drive very well with flip flops on. And I discover when I put on my Toms, everything's better. Everything's better with my Toms or Vans because they're just flat heel shoes that don't flip or flop. So no more driving in my flip flops because it's really annoying. Um, so Adam's question 2 weeks ago was, what is your quest? What do you see yourself doing? Um, this is going to go a little over, by the way, because I have two questions to answer. Uh, so what is my quest? Which was, what do I see myself doing in about uh, 20 years? I'd like to do, as long as I'm doing stuff with computers, I'll be totally set and happy. I want to get coding experience though, which is why I'm kind of doing computer science stuff right now. Computer engineering stuff is another thing that I've had real interest in doing. And I hope to be able to do, to an extent, both of them because I would like to be able to do that because computers are my passion. This week's question was if you had a party and you can have a band play at that party or a wedding, but I'm going to answer for party because that's a bit more freedom. If you could have a band play at your party, who would it be and what genre are they? So I'm going to pick a band called For Today because they're an interesting band. They're a hardcore band, they're a metalcore band. And unlike other metalcore bands like As I Lay Dying or Devil Wears Prada, who the members are Christian, but the music isn't necessarily Christian, for today's music is Christian. If you listen to the lyrics, even though they are screaming, it's total worship music, and it's really, I don't want to say funny, but it's pretty entertaining to listen to with that kind of music that I love so much, and have those kind of lyrics. It just seem not to quite fit in, but the band as a whole is awesome. I've seen them live. I'm seeing them live again in November. They're super happy. They're super fun to see perform and to watch mosh pits go insane. So I'm really looking forward to that in November. That's who I would have play at a party because they'd just be insane and be awesome. Um, but so those are the questions. I don't have much else to talk about, and I'm already at like 6 minutes. So I will end it here and save you the trouble of listening to me any further. I will see you guys next week.